That day it was raining, and Sarah was still enjoying her evening stroll, finishing it on the very same spot, on the bench, where she could rest from the hard-working day in the office and clear her head before going home. This everyday habit helped her see the world for what it was, and not for the terrible things people wanted it to be. When she felt good, she sang softly to the sounds of wind and leaves rustling, or the rain as it was pouring down. Having a very beautiful voice, she never followed her childhood dreams of becoming a singer, but still enjoyed singing for her own pleasure every now and again. And this day she was singing as the raindrops fell onto her umbrella, tapping a melody on the material and bringing a gentle smile on her lips. Sarah watched the people hurrying to get out of the rain and thought how sad it was to see men and women forgetting to notice the beauty of the silver drops falling from the skies. For some time she sat on the bench, quietly singing, until she realized that she was not alone. Someone else's voice joined in, singing to the tune. She turned to see who it was and noticed a handsome young man sitting on the bench that stood on the other side of the path. He looked preoccupied in watching the people around rather than watching her, and seemed to be enjoying the song she was singing. Sarah didn't mind his company, even more so that he was actually not even approaching her at all. A few minutes later, as Sarah finished yet another song, the man glanced at his wristwatch and left without saying a single word. Since that evening they saw each other on those benches, Sarah coming to the park a little earlier than the man, and he was always leaving before she was. But what warmed her heart was the fact that he would always join in with his pleasant baritone to make each song even more beautiful. It became a new habit, singing in a duet with the stranger every day, and it made Sarah happy to see him whenever he joined her. But one day he didn't come, and Sarah found herself wondering what could have happened to the man if he wasn't there. She waited one day, then another, and when the week passed, she thought that he could have probably moved somewhere else, and they will never see each other again. Sarah didn't change her habit, and still went to that bench to sing, dearly missing his voice, until one evening she suddenly heard him again. This time, though, the man was not sitting down on the bench across. He walked right up to her and sat next to Sarah, with a charming smile on his handsome face. They finished the song together, and he finally greeted her. "I miss singing with you here," he said, looking into her eyes openly. "I'm sorry I was gone for so long." "I must admit, I missed hearing your voice, too," Sarah smiled back, feeling her heart warming up. "Hi, I'm William. What do you say we get coffee sometime?" Whatever may be happening in the world around, there is always a place where anyone can feel calm and safe. Many people forget all about it, cooped up in their offices and homes, weighed down by the stresses and troubles that surround them every day. But it's so easy to get out and spend some time in nature, enjoying a breath of fresh air, the songs of birds, or the whispers of the wind, trapped between the leaves high up on the branches of trees. It doesn't even have to be a wild, untamed piece of nature that's never near for the people living in cities. It can be a park or a garden where everything else melts away, allowing the calm silence to take hold of the soul, soothing any tension and aching that may be inside. And it's always there, within reach for anyone who can open his or her eyes to the beauty of the world and see everything nature can offer. All a person can do is open the mind to see the beauty and dancing that nature offers freely. Perhaps it's the only meditative thing that is accessible to anyone who really wants it. And it's absolutely free to watch the clouds floating by on the skies, the birds flying about their business and singing when they want. What stress can there be when you just sit and enjoy the freedom of nature and its magical, captivating dance throughout any season and any time of day or night? In summer, the dance is frivolous, invigorating, and filled with life. Butterflies, bugs, and birds fill the air, while all kinds of critters scatter on the ground, each joining into the chorus of voices of nature. In autumn, the dance is joined by the beautiful swirling of leaves falling down to cover the soil in a warm blanket, getting ready for the cold that will inevitably come and turn the ground and everything around white, frozen, and still. And when the snow begins to fall from the skies, the dance is continued in the billions of snowflakes that fall down, each different and unique, to form a thick cover, hiding everything under the shimmering layer of snow. How fleeting the seasons truly are, each changing in the never-ending circle of the year, offering each time a different view and emotion. And how unnoticed these seasons go by, shunned by the busy, blinded people who forget to stop and look around because of all the things that are on their mind. Modern life turned humans away from nature, though it is always there, in each rain, blizzard, and storm that falls upon the world. Some see it so clearly that they go out each day and share their experiences in whatever way possible, through the breathtaking photographs, captivating short stories, beautiful videos, and deep, heartwarming songs that capture different instances of nature around. But so many people keep themselves distant and pretending that all they could see of this beauty are those little pieces offered by the creative minds of others, though all they should do is step aside from their smartphones and laptops to the outside and into the outdoors, where they could not only see, but also touch and feel the air and scents nature is filled with. So why limit yourself to bits and pieces? Why keep yourself from the best therapist there can ever be for any trouble and heartache? Why keep yourself cooped up in four walls, looking out into the world through a cold, lifeless window? Find some time, even if it's an hour, to step out and set your mind at ease outside, among the wind, grass, leaves, and songs that are woven together into a wholesome fabric we call Mother Nature. Take a walk, go jogging in the park, cycling, or even just sitting on a bench reading a book. It doesn't matter what you will be doing, if you'll be outside in the air and song nature offers freely. This eternal dance of nature can help in so many ways and with so many things. All you have to do is reach out and touch it. A million things might be troubling the mind, but nature can wave it all away, offering a healing and warm touch of the sun, the tranquil spatter of raindrops on the ground, the whispers of the wind, or the overwhelming silence of the heavy snowfall. All those days and weeks people spend in their jobs and worries can be pushed back by a single colorful sunrise or sunset. And if you look up at the night sky and realize how many stars and planets are dancing far away, any trouble and problem might become small and unimportant in the grand scheme of things, where everything dances, following its own melody and tempo. So let the problems go and breathe in some fresh air, melting in the moment of unity with the world and not fighting it. That's why it's so important to let your mind rest sometimes and allow yourself to silence the thoughts in your head. And you never have to wait for a vacation to escape from everything that's bothering your weary soul. Make a habit to give yourself some healing time each day or night, even if it's just a short walk, a few minutes spent watching the stars above your head, drinking a cup of tea in the garden. Perhaps the dance of nature you'll let into your life will help your soul to recuperate from the stresses or even make you want to start creating. Maybe you'll even find yourself wishing to join in and dance. The day was bustling with hundreds of people running about their lives, preparing everything for the jousting tournament that was about to be held to celebrate the end of harvest. Elia watched men and women setting up tents and vendor stalls, filling the field with a chorus of voices. The young elf smiled under his hood, realizing how much fun the evening celebrations can be with such an abundance of food and drinks. Someone almost hit him, but the nimble elf swiftly stepped aside, letting a bulky man pass with his heavy load of crates, filled to the brim with various goods. Being a bard, Elia loved to visit other cities, and especially so during feasts, festivals, and jousting tournaments. He never stopped in one place for too long, finding the excitement of the road ahead more invigorating than the sad existence of a bard stuck in one place under the employ of some rich lord or lady. The elf headed towards the jousting ground, already knowing how much fun he would have and how many new songs he would be able to write when the jousting had concluded. But before the tournament was due to start, Elia had to check the seats and grounds for a perfect place to see everything. He always searched for a good seat or corner, where he would see the festivities among the people, though. He was an elf. He wasn't very tall, and this was more of a bother in his life. Firstly, he was never taken seriously, as he looked much younger than he was. And secondly, no one really believed he was a purebred elf, which sometimes led to confrontations with tavern brawlers. Fortunately, he managed to avoid most confrontations, either by running or losing his pursuers in the crowd. At the moment, As he was glancing about the fantastic jousting grounds, he noticed a very thin, almost starved girl. She looked about 15 years of age, already had a number of scars on her arms and face, as if she wasn't treated well since early childhood. She wasn't bothering the people who were finishing up preparations, hanging the flags and flowers and brushing away the dust and dirt from benches and stages. Instead, she was just watching the birds flying about over her head. It was a strange sight for such a place. If someone wasn't working, they usually went away to get some rest elsewhere, and this girl was openly slacking off and no one even approached her. Elijah was intrigued, so he headed to the girl to ask her if she would help him and be his guide. Perhaps she would be able to tell him which tavern or inn might still have a place to spend the night. As he approached her, he noticed that she didn't even look at him, too deep in her thoughts. He studied her face and realized that if not for the scar running across her lips and cheek, she would have been a very beautiful young woman. "Excuse me," Elijah